Yo. What is up, chat? I just got back from watching Dungeons and Dragons Honor Amongst Thieves, and I wanted to do a review. You know, we usually do Yo Video Games reviews and so forth like that, but I think I'm the closest to a Dungeons and Dragons fan of Yo Video Games, besides like maybe Mike Simmons has done a few like other games that are very close, but to me, yeah, I'm probably one of the biggest dorks at Yo Video Games because my background, I have not played Dungeons and Dragons, but I used to play a game called Shadowrun, which is basically the cyberpunk future world version of Dungeons and Dragons. So picture Dungeons and Dragons, but set in a dystopian future with magic and technology. But my friend, he was the DM, and he said there is no magic, but there was still like elves. We still had orcs. That was the way we played. But anyways, that's my closest to it. And I've had friends that play Dungeons and Dragons. I've seen the books and so forth like that, like, you know, with all the cool stuff in it. And then having just played Diablo, I know it's not Dungeons and Dragons, but god dang it, after I just, you know, did the Diablo beta and going and watching this film, it was fantastic. And it's just like, oh wow, it just hit me right in the fantasy feels, right? It was just great. It was fantastic. Like, it's a overall super fun movie. I think it had super great laughs. I laughed. There was actually moments of feel, and it's funny because, you know, I went to a theater kind of like early, but I had some people to my left. They were really enjoying it, and I had like a guy who was just kind of quiet the whole time. And it's just kind of weird because sometimes, like, I think if you watch that like in a place like maybe like on a Friday night or a Thursday showing with a bunch of fans, I think the energy would have been 100% different, like, right? But I didn't mind. I was just laughing, even though the guy to my right was quiet. He kind of looked like a bro. But overall, like, the movie was fantastic. It was great because it's just a fantasy. It's a fun fantasy not espionage, but I'd say heist film, but, you know, set in the world of Dungeons and Dragons and wizards and stuff. And that, to me, I love that stuff. I'm a big dork. I go to the Renaissance Fair. I go to the, you know, just Harry Potter land and dress up and stuff like that, or go to the Labyrinth of Jareth, which is like a costume ball. I'm a low-key, I love all that stuff. I love fantasy stuff. And, you know, to me, it's a lot of fun. And I think, you know, here's like where Kenny's crazy. I like it more than Lord of the Rings, right? Lord of the Rings is very subtle fantasy, right? Only a few people. And like this, to me, just really felt like it was, you know, like, and I can only imagine, like, maybe by the way, in the comments, if you guys are Dungeons and Dragons players, what did you guys think of the film? I want to know. Hopefully, if you guys play a lot of D&D, but I think this is a film where even if you don't play any Dungeons and Dragons, have never played it, I think you can definitely enjoy. I mean, it's very well written. It's got like the comedy hits. There's a lot of feels in it. I gotta say, I really love what they did with Michelle Rodriguez. She reminded me a bit of Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy, but it fit her perfect. She was amazing. She was a badass, and like, I loved her in this film. I not necessarily so much in Fast and the Furious, right? Because I'm like, in here she's this warrior, she's a badass, she's beating people up, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can see it. You know, she's the barbarian class, and she's just, you know, kicking ass and taking names, and I'm like, yo, let's go. She's doing like and that's another thing about this film. The fight scenes are amazing. The special effects are amazing, and it's great. I just say Michelle Rodriguez, she just nailed it as this character. I loved it. It was a bit of the Drax. You know what? It was, you know what this was? This was basically like this was like Guardians of the Galaxy meets Dungeons and Dragons, and it was just well done. I think, like, you know, when you have Guardians of the Galaxies and you have this crew, now you have this other crew that it's very similar. It's very similar, but instead of space and stuff like that, it's in a magical world, and everybody did fantastic in this film. You know, I'm sorry I don't have all the names. I'm not like a crazy, you know, mega reviewer, but, you know, I love the wizard, the elfling, amazing characters. You know, everybody was good in this, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I could feel for one, have a lot of self doubts. I could really connect with the wizard, bro. I can, and with like ADHD stuff, like leaving things to the very end. And then when you do things, it's kind of like, that is kind of like me. So I'm like, yo, I know how you feel, bro. But it was fantastic. The scenes were amazing. And that's what I liked. I liked it. It was a truly like just, epic fantasy movie with lots of cool magic, just great locales. And, like I said, it's not Diablo is not Dungeons and Dragons, but, it's heavily, it borrows from that universe. They say the word Baldur's Gate. I'm like, hey, I played a lot of Baldur's Gate too. And I love those games. I loved always, like being, for classes, I'm always usually Paladin. I usually started off as Sorcerer because I like doing magic, but then like Paladin, I love being Paladin because I love supporting the homies. And if you're in a crew, everybody needs to be a Paladin. And not everybody wants to play a Paladin because like all the other people do cooler stuff. But I'm like, yeah, but if you don't have a Paladin in your group, you're probably going to fail. You know what I'm saying? So I always like to play support. What does that have to do with the film? I don't know. But the whole time I'm just like, wow, this is cool. I want to see more. I'd love to see more films of, in the Dungeons and Dragons universe. I'd love to see these characters come back. I'd love to see maybe, or, another set of characters and stuff like that. Maybe they come together. But it was fantastic, right? And like, there was like little Easter eggs, even for me who doesn't play that much. I did see and I noticed a lot of Easter eggs in the film, and it was just great. I'm trying to think if I had any like quips about it. No, it was fantastic. I'd say it's like a easy 9 out of 10. Just a great time to go in the theater, watch it, have fun. It's got great acting, great message, relatable characters. And that's what I think about, like, when you think of the world like Dungeons and Dragons, it's basically you and your role playing as your character. And some of your characters usually have a lot of your own traits, or they have traits that you wish you had, right? Like if you're a barbarian, you're like, maybe you wish you were a bit more brave or strong and stuff like that. But it was a great film. And I'd like to go see it again. It was super cool. And is there anything else that I could say about it? That like, no, I think it's a lot of fun. I love the fantasy aspect of it. Just having played Diablo just kind of like hyped me more, and I'm like, I could like, and me being such a dork, I'm like, yo, I'd love to be in the film. I'd love to be the necromancer, like that would be great. That'd be so cool. Like maybe in a sequel, there's a necromancer or something like that. And I think that's what's so great about these games, the same like Diablo or Dungeons and Dragons and the pen, you get to put yourself in this world. And one thing I'm going to say, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but the diversity in the film, I loved it. It's amazing because like, here's the thing, Dungeons and Dragons is played by millions and it's played by everybody. It's not just played by, certain, it's enjoyed all over the world by many different races and everything like that. So that to me was just amazing. It was so cool to like see a wizard and to see a paladin, that looked like me. And there's going to be a lot of people. There's a lot of hate, right? Diversity is a touchy subject, but the thing is, it's important to so many people. And it was just well done. And it's just so cool because, like I said, I'm a dork. I love dressing up and going to Renaissance fairs and playing, these characters and stuff like that. So having a film like this showcase that just made me happy. The film is fantastic. I really couldn't nitpick anything of it. Like, it was just cool action. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. I'm gonna go see Mike, or like if Mike comes down. I think Mike's going on a big trip. Maybe we'll go Simmons and take his waifu with him. But fantastic film. I would recommend watching it. I'm gonna go watch it again. It's a great popcorn film, but that has a lot of substance to it. It has a lot of heart and comedy and just great effects and great characters. It's fantastic. Well, guys, that's been my review. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. And like I said, if you have played a lot of Final Fantasy, I have dyslexia, so I say a lot of things because I think about another thing. Don't worry about it. But if you play Dungeons and Dragons, or if you haven't, like, well, if you played, I want both. Like topics in the comments. If you played a lot of D&D, let me know what you think. Let me know, like, oh man, like, did you enjoy it? Did you be like, oh, you know? And I did see a lot of them in the beginning, but like sometimes these people just get so mad at so many different things because, like, oh, we wanted to see more orcs, we wanted to see more, you know, dwarves or something like that. And they were in the film, but they weren't just part of this crew. But like, I you know, I think that's all gone because like I've seen a lot of people enjoy it. But anyways, guys, thank you guys so much. Have a good one. Peace.